Don Johnson's story begins in a small house in Flat Creek, Missouri, where he was born on December 15, 1949. His mother, Nell, was just 16 years old, and his father, Freddie, was 19. They were still teenagers trying to survive with little money or guidance. Because of their young age and lack of stability, Don grew up without much structure or security. His childhood was filled with stress, confusion, and moments of fear rather than comfort or safety. When Don was 6, the family moved to Wichita, Kansas, hoping for a better life after his father got a job at Boeing Aircraft. Even with that steady job, money was always tight. They lived in a small house built for factory workers, sharing one bathroom among 6 people. The constant pressure of bills and the fear of losing everything left a deep mark on Don. Even when he became famous, that fear of poverty and instability never left him. It shaped how he saw the world, how he worked, and what success meant to him. Life at home wasn't just poor, it was also violent. Don's father had a terrible temper and would often beat his children. The house was a place of fear, where Don and his siblings never knew what might set their father off. At 12, Don went through a deeply traumatic experience when his 16-year-old babysitter took advantage of him. It happened while his parents were fighting and heading for divorce. There was no real supervision or care, and that lack of attention let terrible things happen. Don has talked about how this early trauma haunted him for years. His mother tried to raise him alone after the divorce, but she couldn't control him. By 13, Don was in juvenile court for acting out. The judge decided he should live with his father again, even though his father had been abusive. It was a painful decision, but one that reflected how broken their family had become. Despite the chaos, Don found inspiration in an unexpected place, his mother's beauty salon. She worked as a beautician, and her salon became a classroom of sorts. He learned how appearances could change the way people were treated, and how confidence could transform someone. Those lessons would later help him as an actor, where image and presence mattered just as much as talent. In 1967, everything changed for Don when he accidentally joined a drama class. He had been kicked off the football team for falling asleep in class and needed to make up credits. Acting didn't interest him at first, but once he performed as Tony in West Side Story, something clicked. For the first time, he felt seen and appreciated. That sense of connection gave him purpose. His teacher encouraged him to pursue acting seriously, and Don earned a scholarship to the University of Kansas. During his teenage years, Don's relationship with his father began to change slightly. His father started teaching him how to fish and hunt, and for the first time, there were peaceful moments between them. Don also worked hard to help support the family, taking jobs as a butcher's apprentice and a shoe salesman while still in school. These experiences built his work ethic, something that would later carry him through Hollywood's ups and downs. He eventually dropped out of the University of Kansas after starting a relationship with an older acting teacher and moved to San Francisco to study at the American Conservatory Theater. At just 19, with no money and no safety net, he took a leap of faith. That decision changed his life. In 1969, Don starred in the play Fortune and Men's Eyes in Los Angeles. It was shocking and controversial for its time, dealing with prison violence and sexuality. Don's raw performance caught people's attention, even though it didn't make him famous. A year later, he made his film debut in The Magic Garden of Stanley's Sweetheart, a movie about a college dropout caught up in New York's underground world. The film flopped, but Don kept pushing forward. Throughout the 1970s, he took roles in unusual and often risky projects, including Zachariah, a bizarre rock musical western, and A Boy and His Dog, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film that finally earned him critical respect. By the mid-1970s, he was known as a talented but unpredictable actor willing to take chances. Then came Miami Vice in 1984, and Don Johnson became a global superstar. His role as Detective Sonny Crockett turned him into a fashion icon. The show was unlike anything on TV, stylish, expensive, and cinematic. Don's look, pastel suits, loafers without socks, and Ray-Ban sunglasses, started fashion trends around the world. The show's first episode alone cost over $1 million to make and drew 15 million viewers. In one 1985 episode called Evan, Don gave a heartbreaking performance that reflected his real-life pain. The scene where his character grieved for a fallen partner was so emotional that he cried 8 times on camera. That performance won him a Golden Globe in 1986. When he thanked his late father during his short, tearful speech, the moment became one of television's most memorable award show highlights. Miami Vice didn't just make Don rich, it changed television. It helped Miami's economy, boosted tourism, and influenced pop culture around the world. But behind the glamour, tensions grew. Don's co-star Philip Michael Thomas discovered Don was earning much more money, and the two had a major falling out. Their feud lasted for years and affected filming. At the same time, Don was building a music career. His 1986 album Heartbeat went gold, and the title track became a hit. He performed with big names like Willie Nelson and Ron Wood from the Rolling Stones. But his follow-up album flopped, and his music career faded quickly. Don's personal life was even more dramatic. He had multiple short marriages before his infamous relationship with actress Melanie Griffith, who was only 14 when they met. They married when she turned 18 but divorced 6 months later. They remarried in 1989, had a daughter, Dakota Johnson, and divorced again in 1996. Between those years, Don also had a son with actress Patty D'Arbanville. His relationships were filled with drugs, alcohol, and chaos. By the late 1990s, Don tried to settle down. He married a schoolteacher, Kelly Flager, in 1999, and they had 3 children together. This time, the marriage lasted. Kelly helped bring stability to his life. Even so, trouble found him again. In 2002, he was detained at the Swiss border with documents linked to an $8 billion financial scheme. Though he wasn't charged with anything, the scandal damaged his reputation. Around the same time, his finances collapsed. He declared bankruptcy in 2004, nearly losing his beloved Colorado ranch. Somehow, he came up with the money to save it, but it marked one of the lowest points in his life. He made a comeback with the series Nash Bridges, which ran for 6 seasons and gave him steady income. Years later, he sued for unpaid profits and won $19 million, saving him financially. In the 2000s and 2010s, Don slowly rebuilt his career. He took memorable roles in projects like From Dusk Till Dawn, the series, Book Club, and Rebel Ridge. But his biggest return to fame came in 2019 with Knives Out, where he played the greedy, arrogant Richard Drysdale. The movie was a hit worldwide and reminded audiences that Don Johnson could still command the screen. In 2024, he appeared in Netflix's Rebel Ridge as a corrupt police chief, earning critical praise. That same year, he starred in ABC's Dr. Odyssey, playing the calm and charming captain of a cruise ship. Then in June 2025, at age 75, Don shocked everyone when he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Looking decades younger. His skin was smooth, his jawline sharp, and fans were stunned. Plastic surgery rumors exploded online. Some experts claimed he'd had a facelift or fillers, while others insisted it was just good genetics and skincare. Whatever the truth, Don kept silent. Social media buzzed with side-by-side photos, and people debated how he could look so youthful after such a turbulent life. Whether he had surgery or not, one thing was clear: Don Johnson had survived every storm, from poverty and scandal to heartbreak and fame. Decades after Miami Vice, he was still in the spotlight, still reinventing himself, and still leaving everyone talking.